If you don't have the skills that will turn you into an A player, in an economy like this where the supply is greater than the demand, you're out of luck. So I'm going to talk about how to be an A player and how to position yourself so that where you position yourself, that the benefit you offer is how to be a great manager of other people. The manager is in a position of having to execute. I'm not saying that the manager doesn't have responsibility for getting the job done. He or she does. But the focus has to be on motivating, persuading, encouraging employees. So the focus for a manager is on employee development, not on his or her own technical skill set. How you present yourself matters. We're all visual. There are people in this room who are wearing unironed shirts. There are people in this room that are wearing what they would wear to go camping. And there are people in this room that are wearing what they would wear to go to a job interview. Think about that. You come here to a networking group, and you should be putting your best foot forward. Not, I just threw myself out of bed this morning. So part of it is personable, who you talk to, how you smile, whether you're standing with your arms crossed in a negative way, not your own teasing, but you made me think about it. You know, whether you're, kind of, your body language. Are you approachable? And if you're not approachable, would I be interested in you in the potential management position? If you're not approachable and you're not personable, I don't know, my thought might be, gee, this person is really technically good, but technicians are a dime a dozen. For me and for most of us, the ability to be face-to-face is priceless. You think about your level of communication. If you're communicating with somebody only by email, you don't know them, do you? You can't tell how they're taking what you're saying. As I look at you in the same room with me, I can tell whether I put you to sleep or, whether I'm getting a little bit of nods of agreement, puzzled frowns. I have all of those visual clues. If we're talking on the telephone and we still don't have the visual, then tone of voice becomes important. But there, cultural differences get in the way, because varying cultures use different tonal qualities to speak. And I have been accused on the phone of being rude. And that's my New York kind of out there. I don't think I'm being rude, but I'm not soft-spoken by any means, There's another thing, it's called low context, high context. You were talking again about Israel. Israel, East Coast New York, we are very low context people. We just do the deal, okay? How much does it cost me? Okay, no, don't want it, right? Okay. If you go into the Romance cultures, which would be all of the Italian culture, the Spanish culture, the Mexican culture, Central South American cultures, you have high context people where the relationship has to be developed long before they're willing to do business with you. We talk about the French, for example, as being kind of surly and sullen and not smiling. They think we're nuts. We smile at strangers. Hi, how are ya? They don't do that. They wait to get to know you. You have to have the right introductions. So creating family relationships becomes very important. The Asian cultures also similarly, that you're not just doing business with a person. You have to create the relationship of trust. And I think that's really important, because the opening of doors is not necessarily just the who do you know, making the introductions. It's how do you capitalize on who do you know. And it's only as you get older and wiser and more experienced that you have the savvy to help other people do that, because we all, when we're young, bumble around. So what does it take to be a mentor? I have a list here, but let me hear from you. What does it take to be a mentor?
Integrity.
Integrity. Very good. Integrity. What else?
Ability to listen to somebody objectively.
Yeah, ability to listen. That's a much more important ability than to talk, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Who is it that said we have 2 ears and one? Yeah. Okay, what else does it take?
How do you go about setting boundaries in those relationships so that the mentor doesn't take advantage of the...
Oh, I was thinking the opposite. The mentee doesn't take advantage. Yeah. So that is an interesting question. Yeah, it's just funny. I do a whole talk on boundaries. I have a whole article on boundaries that I've done. So in your life, in your normal who you are, having nothing to do with anything life, how do you set boundaries? Are you strong enough to say no thank you? Okay? The man who was the man of my life for many years, we were at dinner one night, and one of the guests at my dinner table was trying to get him to donate to her favorite charity, whatever it was. And Bill had style. He's dead. He had style. And so she's going on and on about whatever her charity was, and he said to her, it sounds really lovely and very, very important. He said, but, you know, I've selected the charities that are more, I don't think he said more important, but I've selected the charities that I want to support at this point. But thank you so much for telling me about it. My mouth dropped open because, you know, me, I'd say no. You know, I'm a kid from the Bronx. No. But you need to be clear about your own boundaries. And in the setting of your own boundaries, you need to be okay about the occasional breaking it, as long as that breaking of it feels okay to you, if that makes sense. That you set up a relationship with another human being. This is true of any relationship that we have, whether it's from, you know, romance or friendship or employer or, you know, you set your terms. This is who I am and this is what I'm willing to give.